It started with a whisper, but now it's turning into a full-blown war. Tasha K, the internet's most fearless and most feared mouthpiece, just lit a match under the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta set. And baby, this fire, it's burning through secrets folks prayed would never see daylight. Word on the street is Tasha's sitting on private videos of mendeecees and Erica Mena. Those kind of videos end after a behind-the-scenes clash that went left fast. She's threatening to leak them. Her exact words, "Don't play with me." Now fans are frozen in shock, asking the same thing. How did she get the videos? And why Erica and mendeecees? Weren't they just denying any connection on camera? Suddenly, rumors from last week's chaos on set when security had to be called, and Yandy stormed off in tears are starting to make a lot more sense. And let's not forget, this isn't Tasha's first time dropping bombs. But even for her, this one's dangerous. Relationships are unraveling, alliances are shifting, and the streets are buzzing with betrayal. What went down between Erica and mendeecees? Is Tasha bluffing, or is this a scorched earth warning shot? Don't blink. This story's about to explode on. We've got all the tea. It all started on a humid Atlanta afternoon, the kind where tension hangs thick in the air and one wrong word can flip the whole scene upside down. The cast of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was supposed to be filming a casual sit-down, something low-key to bridge the messy drama between Erica Mena and Yandy Smith. Cameras were rolling, producers were on edge, and no one could have predicted the storm that was brewing just outside the frame. mendeecees stepped onto the set, wearing that quiet expression that usually meant he was calm, until he wasn't. He barely glanced at Yandy, who sat on the other side of the table with arms crossed so tight it looked like she was holding herself together by force. Erica was late again, and this time her delay wasn't because of glam or traffic. She was on the phone with someone she shouldn't have been, someone who was about to change everything. Tasha K, the blogger, had been stirring the pot for weeks. Whispers had made their way through group chats, fan pages, even hair salons. Tasha had something private, something raw. And according to the message she sent to Erica that morning, she was done keeping it to herself. "Don't play with me. I will leak everything. Try me." Those words hit Erica like a physical blow. She went pale, hands trembling so hard she nearly dropped her phone. Producers, sensing trouble, exchanged worried looks. They had heard something was off, but didn't know what until Erica finally walked in, tight-lipped and hyper-aware of every camera in the room. The conversation started. Civil small talk, scripted questions, the usual fake calm before the storm. But underneath it all was a current of electricity. Everyone was waiting for the fuse to be lit. Erica, voice low and strained, finally spoke. "We need to talk, off camera." The room froze. mendeecees narrowed his eyes. "About what?" he asked. She didn't answer. She just stared at him, phone in hand, like she was hoping he'd already know. Yandy picked up on it instantly. "What are you hiding now?" she snapped. Nobody answered. mendeecees shifted in his seat, eyes darting toward the sound crew like he was checking who might be listening. That's when Erica pulled out her phone and showed him the screen. A screenshot of Tasha's threat. "If you don't tell the truth, I will." It read, "I got videos. You and her. Don't play with me." mendeecees' face changed. Not confused, not angry, scared. He leaned forward, voice low. "Where did you get this?" Erica shook her head, panic in her eyes. "I didn't, Tasha did. She sent it to me this morning." Yandy stood up, sudden and sharp. "What the hell is going on?" she demanded. No one answered. mendeecees took the phone from Erica's hand and stared at the message. "She doesn't have anything," he said, trying to sound firm. But his voice cracked just enough for doubt to slide in. Erica wasn't buying it, neither was Yandy. "What videos?" Yandy pressed. mendeecees didn't respond, and that silence was louder than any confession. Producers paused filming. whispered among themselves, then ushered the cast off set under the guise of equipment checks. But there was no cooling off, not now. Not with what was unraveling in the hallway. Erica cornered Mendeecees' voice, trembling. "You said that night didn't mean anything. You said nobody would find out." He looked around, whispering so low she could barely hear him. "I don't know how she got that. I swear I deleted everything. I don't even talk to her." "But you did," Erica hissed. "You were in that hotel room with me." And just like that, the denial crumbled. Yandy, standing a few feet away, heard every word. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just walked away, leaving them to their mess. The next morning, Tasha went live. No warning, no teaser. Just her, a microphone, and fire in her eyes. "So let me make this real clear," she began, voice steady. "I asked them to come clean. They didn't. Now they're playing stupid. I don't bluff. If I say I got something, I got it. And unless somebody starts telling the truth, I'm airing everything out. Videos, screenshots, the whole damn archive." Comments exploded. We're torn between outrage and gleeful anticipation. Erica posted a cryptic message on her story. "Pray for me," then deleted it before anyone could respond. Mendeecees went radio silent. No posts, no interviews. Yandy posted a black screen with 3 words. "I warned you." By afternoon, an anonymous tip led a fan account to unearth hotel receipts with matching timestamps and grainy screenshots of Mendeecees entering a downtown suite with someone who looked a lot like Erica. Suddenly, the story was no longer rumor. It was a ticking time bomb. In whispers that Rich Dallas had seen the messages too and warned Mendeecees weeks ago. And suddenly, fans were tracing every rap party clip, cross-referencing dated Instagram stories, and time-stomping moments for evidence. The internet was on fire. Later that night, producers called for a midnight rooftop shoot. They wanted raw, unfiltered reactions. The cast arrived, bruised and on edge, Erica in sunglasses despite the darkness, Mendeecees looking like he hadn't slept, and Yandy sitting alone, jaw clenched so tight her knuckles were white. The director's soft cue cracked the tension. "Just speak from the heart. Whatever you're feeling." Yandy stood, glared at Mendeecees and said, "So you cheated on me with her, and now you've got the whole world watching me break." Mendeecees lowered his gaze, voice barely audible. "I messed up," Erica gasped. Yandy laughed, a short, broken sound. "You messed up?" she repeated. "Or did you choose to hurt me? Day after day, while smiling in my face?" He didn't answer. The cameras rolled. Every heartbeat felt. Amplified. Yandy turned and walked off, leaving silence in her wake. No one followed. Backstage, producers scrambled to vet footage, checking contracts and release forms. They had never filmed something this real, this raw, this explosive. Then a new notification lit up everyone's phones. Tasha had posted again a photo of a laptop, paused on a video frame showing 2 blurred figures in a hotel bed. The caption read, "Y'all better come correct. I'm done playing with you clowns." The cast was in meltdown. Legal teams convened, publicists drafted statements, and fans. They were diving deeper, collecting every clue like detectives hungry for the next revelation. In the chaos, Bambi and Scrappy were spotted filming their own confessionals off camera, muttering about loyalty and betrayal. Some claimed Scrappy hinted at secrets everyone thinks they know, while others speculated he was working with Tasha for an even bigger scoop. Meanwhile, Erica's phone lit up with messages from a mysterious source claiming to have more. Footage angles Tasha didn't show. An anonymous DM read, "I got more. Meet me at the Dogwood Lounge at 2 a.m. Erica stared at the message, heart pounding. She debated ignoring it, but curiosity and fear won. If someone else had additional evidence, she needed to know how deep this went. Across town, Mendeecees sat in his car outside a darkened house, waiting for a knock. His mind raced. Was it Tasha herself? A friend turned informant? Or a trap? Every minute felt like an hour. With each passing moment, the web tightened. Alliances shattered. Trust evaporated. And as the city slept, the cast of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta was playing a high-stakes game. One wrong move away from total exposure. The night had just begun. And nobody knew who would survive the blowback once the dawn light hit social feeds the morning after the rooftop. Meltdown arrived like a freight train. Erica woke to the relentless buzz of her phone, every notification a reminder that the world was watching her unravel. Gossip pages flashed screenshots of the midnight audio clip. Fans replaying Erica's trembling voice as if it were a new hit single. She stared at herself in the bathroom mirror, eyes red, mascara smudged like war paint. She hadn't eaten, she hadn't slept, and the weight of anticipation pressed on her chest like a pillow of stone. A text from an unknown number blinked. On her screen tonight, hotel suite. Bring proof or be exposed. Her pulse spiked. Proof of what? She had seen the clips Tasha sent, but now someone wanted something more. Across town, Mendeecees sat behind the tinted windows of his SUV, headlights cutting through the pre-dawn fog. He replayed Yandy's accusations from the night before, her voice cracking as she shouted, "You gave Tasha the bullets." He swallowed and called his lawyer. Silence answered. He dialed again. Finally, she picked up, voice measured. "We need to prepare for defamation and privacy invasion suits," she said. He nodded, though she couldn't see him. "Get me a draft," he whispered. But his mind raced with a different fear. What if Tasha's leaks were only a distraction for something far worse? Yandy found refuge in her sister's guest room, the walls covered in childhood photos that felt like another life. Her sister sat across from her, hands clasped. "You can't keep doing this," she said softly. "Either you fight with everything you have, or you let go." Yandy's fingers trembled around her coffee cup. "Fight who?" she asked. "Him? Her? The network. Tasha." Tears shimmered in her eyes. "I'm tired of choosing sides." Her sister reached across and squeezed her hand. "You're choosing yourself. That's the only side you need." By midday, Tasha K was already on her next move. She posted a cryptic quote graphic, "Every empire crumbles from within." Fans dissected the words, convinced Tasha was predicting the downfall of the show. Conspiracy blogs spun rumors that the network itself was behind some of the leaks. A way to boost ratings before the season finale. Theories spiraled like whirlwinds. Did the producers stage the audio clip? Was Tasha working with an insider? Could none of it be real? The uncertainty intoxicated the internet. Erica's single quotes as meeting at the botanical garden felt like a scene from a thriller. She arrived at sunset, the sky a swirl of pink and orange, shadows lengthening like long fingers. The assistant producer she'd been promised stood beneath a willow tree, face hidden under a hoodie. He handed her a sealed envelope. "Inside are text logs, call records, payment receipts," he whispered. "They trace back to someone you'd never suspect." Erica's heart pounded. She tore the envelope open, scanning pages dotted with phone numbers and timestamps. One name kept repeating: Rosemary, legal advisor. The producer vanished before Erica could ask more, leaving her alone under the weeping willow, mind-spinning dot 2 blocks away. Yandy collaborated with Bambi in a dingy motel room, the thin walls humming with air conditioning. Bambi spread grainy. Photos on the bed, Mendeecees' phone screen, Erica's name flashing at 2:47 a.m. And an unknown number calling 5 times at 3:01. "This isn't staged," Bambi said. "It's orchestration." Yandy traced a trembling finger over the photos. "So Mendeecees wasn't the only one playing games." Okay. Bambi nodded, "and Erica's meeting is no coincidence. Someone is setting her up." Yandy exhaled, determination hardening her gaze. "Then we expose them all." Meanwhile, Scrubbed social feeds lit up with screenshots of a leaked group chat between producers and a shell account labeled Project Overhaul. In one message, a producer wrote, "Need a huge scandal before a finale. Tasha on board." Another replied, "Got it. Plug the audio and the hotel vid. Make the cast sweat." Fans erupted. Comments accused the network of manufacturing drama. Critics questioned reality TV ethics, and hashtags like #FakeFAM and #manufactured meltdown trended worldwide. Even news outlets picked up the story, interviewing media analysts who lamented the blurring lines between real conflict and engineered chaos. That night, the trio Arika, Yandy, and mendeecees agreed to a clandestine summit at a quiet rooftop bar. They arrived separately, each cloaked in worry. Erika carried the envelope of evidence, Yandy had Bambi's photos, mendeecees had his. Lawyer on speakerphone. They sat at a circular table, voices hushed. "We're pawns," Erika began, sliding the logs across. They used Tasha's reputation to cover their own tracks. Mendeecees nodded, voice gravelly. "And Tasha, she's either their tool or a major player herself." Yandy looked between them. "Either way, we're in deeper than we thought." Mendeecees tapped his temple. "My lawyer says we can subpoena records, but that could blow up in our faces." Erika shook her head. "We need public pressure. If fans know the network's dirty, they'll force a reckoning." Yandy added, "But first we get a statement from Tasha." "She's the wild card," they agreed. First, confront Tasha. Second, leak the producer chat. Third, demand transparency from the network. A plan formed, fragile but potent, across town. Tasha K watched the sunset from her condo balcony, champagne glass in hand. Her phone lit up with messages, some sources fearful, some begging for their names to be kept secret. She smirked. No one knew the full story yet. The power to reveal was hers alone. She took a slow sip and typed a tweet. "Big revelations tomorrow, stay tuned." The city below buzzed, oblivious to the undercurrents she'd unleashed. As midnight approached, the cast and their allies braced for impact. Erika held the call records like a lifeline. Yandy rehearsed her speech. Mendeecees steeled himself for confrontation. They waited by their screens, hearts pounding in unison with the clock's second hand. When the hour struck, Tasha's tweet exploded, linking to an exclusive interview in which she hinted at proof beyond the leaks, promising the mastermind's name and the puppet strings. The internet erupted once more. In the aftermath, revelations tumbled like dominoes. A high-ranking producer was suspended, legal notices flew, and viewership spiked to record highs. The cast watched the chaos unfold, relief and dread mingling. They had exposed the machine, but now the machine was fighting back. And somewhere in the shadows, the true architect of it all smiled, watching the world burn around her carefully laid plan. The moment Tasha's tweet went live, the city felt like it wobbled on its axis. Within seconds, notifications blew up everyone's phones. Erika watched the link click count climb as if it were an enemy advancing, her pulse pounding. She sat in her living room surrounded by evidence folders and legal briefs, wishing for a moment of peace she knew wouldn't come. The exclusive interview she hadn't agreed to was appearing on Gizmodo's site, MTV News, even CNN's entertainment ticker. Headlines screamed that there was proof of producer manipulation and promised the name of the puppet master. Mendeecees stared at the screen in disbelief. He had thought by confronting the network, by leaking those chat logs, he would seize control. Instead, it felt like handing the reins to someone else entirely. He rifled through emails, searching for any indication of who Tasha was about to name. Weeks ago, he had dismissed her threats as sensational clickbait. Now, he wondered if she had planned every leak, every step, like a chess. Grandmaster Yandy felt the tremor of betrayal in her gut. She paced her apartment, replaying the summit, where they had vowed unity. That plan seemed naively optimistic now. Allyship with Erica and Mendeecees had felt like survival. Now, as the internet dissected every photo, every recorded conversation, she questioned whether any of it had been real or whether they had all been pieces on someone else's board. Meanwhile, fans hunted for clues. Reddit threads exploded with theories. Was the mastermind a disgruntled former producer? A network executive seeking to boost ratings before advertising deadlines? Or was it an outside PR firm hired to stir scandal? Amateur sleuths tracked Tasha's past social media posts, looking for hints of a hidden collaborator. Obsessive. Thread claimed that a shadowy account had messaged Tasha weeks ago, offering intel for a price. The very idea that Tasha might be compromised sent a shiver through loyal fan bases. In the control room of the studio, producers gathered around a single screen showing Tasha's interview clip. Network brass hovered over them, faces pale. 1. Executive clasped a hand to his mouth as he watched Tasha accuse the network of staging drama for ratings, her voice steady, unwavering. Another exec whispered, "We need damage control now." They scrambled to draft statements, but every word felt hollow. Tasha's evidence was too detailed, too damning. Erica decided she couldn't stay hidden. She stepped in front of her camera for an impromptu Instagram live. Hands shaking, she began. "I never wanted this to become a circus, but the truth matters more than comfort. You deserve to know what's real and what's manufactured." She revealed a snippet of the call logs they had uncovered, timestamps showing producers coordinating key moments in the cast's confrontation. Fans watched her live stream surge, far outpacing Tasha's numbers. Some cheered her transparency. Others accused her of trying to steal Tasha's thunder. Mendeecees, meanwhile, sat in a dimly lit meeting room with his lawyer and publicist. Every camera angle, every clip had been analyzed. They'd traced payment records, suggesting a freelance editor had been hired to splice private moments into sensational teasers. The editor's name was unfamiliar, but the trail led to a shell company with connections to a major PR agency. The same agency had handled crisis management for several reality shows. This was bigger than a single insider. It was an orchestrated campaign. Yandy, torn between anger and exhaustion, picked up her phone and scrolled through comments. Fans blamed her for not speaking sooner. Others praised her resilience. She missed the rare days when the show's biggest drama was on camera, fights and reunion slams. Now it was legal maneuvering and moral reckonings playing out in headlines. She typed a short message. "I refuse to be a puppet. I refuse to be a pawn." Then she deleted it. Too much risk, too many handlers watching. As night fell, a hush settled over Atlanta. In a penthouse suite downtown, Tasha sat across from an anonymous figure, someone whose face was hidden beneath a hoodie. Papers lay on the glass table. Contracts, payment receipts, a list of names marked compromised. Tasha's eyes glowed in the low light. "So you're telling me network executives paid you to fabricate evidence?" she asked. The figure nodded. "Yes, and you have proof." Tasha slid a photo proof across an email thread between a senior producer and the shell company. She tapped the photo with a finger. "It ends tonight." At the same time, Scrappy and Bambi convened in a makeshift war room, the motel room where Part 2 had begun. Now they had backups of all footage, encrypted copies on flash drives, hard copies of contracts. Bambi looked at Scrappy. "We need a public statement from us to declare everything we've learned." Scrappy nodded. "And we need to time it so it undercuts Tasha's next move." They drafted a joint letter, an unflinching account of how producers had scripted conflict. Once signed and released to a major entertainment outlet, it would be impossible to ignore. Back in her living room, Erica received a direct message from Tasha, "Meet me where it started." Erica's heart froze. The location was the downtown hotel suite, the same suite from the leaked videos. She knew it was a trap, but she also knew it was the only way to end this. She called Yandy. I'm going alone, she whispered. Yandy didn't protest. Be careful, she said. Then, more quietly, tell the truth. Mendeecees received a call from a reporter offering an on-camera interview. They wanted to air his side to balance the narrative. His publicist urged, caution, no live interviews until we have full evidence. But the offer meant credibility. He hesitated, then agreed, scheduling the interview for dawn. As the clock neared midnight again, an uneasy calm fell. Tasha prepared her final blow of video montage juxtaposing scripted producer prompts with the cast's real emotions. Revealing the degree of manipulation, Scrappy and Bambi prepared to drop their joint statement to coincide with Tasha's release. Erica readied herself for the rendezvous at the hotel suite. Mendeecees prepped talking points for his interview. Yandy drafted a silent vow. I'm done being silent. In the dead of night, Atlanta held its breath. Behind the sensational headlines and shattered trust, a deeper battle unfolded, the struggle for truth in a world built on illusion. And as the players moved into position, the next chapter promised to be the most explosive yet when secrets buried deepest would finally claw their way to the surface as the first light of dawn crept through the curtains. The city felt eerily quiet, as if Atlanta itself was holding its breath. Erica slipped into the lobby of the old downtown hotel, clutching her phone and the rough photos from that hidden folder, her heart pounding like a drum. She scanned the dimly lit space, every shadow seeming to hide a secret. She saw him before. He saw Hertha, assistant producer, hoodie pulled low, leaning against a pillar. You came, he murmured, voice low. I almost didn't. Erica kept her eyes on the flickering neon sign outside. I need the truth, she said. He hesitated, then slid a sealed envelope into her hand. Everything you wanted and more. She glanced down to see a label, final proof. Meanwhile, on the rooftop where their final confrontation had been planned, Yandy paced beneath a single floodlight. Scrappy and Bambi arrived moments later, faces drawn but determined. They each carried folders, flash drives, printed emails bound with paper clips. We're live in 10 minutes, Scrappy said, voice tight with nerves. Bambi nodded, pulling out her phone to check her reflection in the screen. Can't believe it's come to this, she whispered. But if we don't do it now, we never will. Yandy placed a hand on each of their shoulders. We're not doing this just for us, she said. We're doing it for everyone who believed in this. Shows authenticity. They took a collective breath, bracing for the storm they were about to unleash. Back in his blacked-out SUV parked across the street, Mendeecees stared at his reflection in the tinted window. Beneath the driver's seat, his lawyer's draft of the defamation suit waited in his lap. He thumbed through the pages, debating whether to trust the legal shield or join the public crusade with his friends. He thought of Yandy's tear-streaked face, of Erica's trembling hands on that USB drive, and of Tasha's knowing smile. Finally, he shut the door, got out, and walked toward the rooftop entrance. This time, he wouldn't hide behind legal jargon. He would stand beside them, face the fallout head-on, inside a makeshift media room on the rooftop. A small crew of independent journalists set up cameras and laptops. The network had refused to cover this unauthorized press conference, but the trio had arranged for a popular online outlet to live stream every word. A hush fell as Erica, Mendeecees, Yandy, Bambi, and Scrappy took their places in front of a plain white wall stamped with graffiti and chipped paint, a symbol of the raw, unfiltered truth they planned to deliver. Erica began, voice steady but raw, we are here because we believe the truth matters more than ratings. She paused, letting the words sink in. For weeks, she continued, holding up the envelope, we have been manipulated, deceived, and silenced. Producers pulled strings, hired freelance editors to splice private moments into sensational teasers, and used Tasha K's platform to amplify chaos for clicks. This, she tapped the envelope, contains incontrovertible evidence. Email threads, Payment records, call logs, and raw footage of production meetings planning our melodrama. Today we demand accountability from the network, from the producers, and from anyone who profited from manufacturing our pain. Scrappy stepped forward, voice gravelly. I've been on this show for years, and I believed it was real conflict. Yes, but real. What we saw was our lives, our friendships, our heartbreaks. But someone behind the scenes decided that our stories needed extra spice. They scripted lines, staged fights, and let our tears roll for peak engagement. That stops. Now, Bambi held up a flash drive. This contains unedited footage of producer meetings where they said, "We need a scandal for episode 6. And minutes later, Tasha K's first leak hit social media. That's not coincidence. That's orchestration. Yandy took a steadying breath. I stand here not as a victim, but as someone reclaiming her voice. I loved Mendeecees, and I believed in Erica. But love and friendship shouldn't be currency for television ratings." She glanced at Mendeecees, whose eyes glistened. "We were pawns in a game we never agreed to play." The live comments exploded as they presented documents, scrolling emails that traced a hidden hand pulling the strings. Viewers gasped at the clarity of timestamps. Messages from a shell company paying for clandestine recordings. Producers laughing over email about how to milk the drama. And a confidential memo titled Project Overhaul, Finale Cliffhanger. When the airtime ended, the small crowd of journalists applauded, some with tears in their eyes. The live stream feed cut, but the message had reached millions, splintering the narrative the network had controlled for so long. Across the street, Tasha K watched the live feed on her phone, frowning. She had thought she was the architect of chaos, but now she realized she had been a pawn in a much larger scheme. The envelope she had given Erica had been planted by the true mastermind, a rival blogger she had underestimated. The last piece of evidence in that folder exposed a plot to use Tasha's credibility to usher in a new era of sensationalism. One that Tasha was no longer willing to be part of, in a darkened control room at the network headquarters. Executives huddled, faces pale under fluorescent lights. The CEO's voice crackled over the comm. Damage control protocol Delta. Prepare immediate statement. We go live in 5. Producers scrambled, but the story had already broken free. Anchors on local news channels cut in with headlines. Love and hip hop. Atlanta cast exposes producers. Reality TV scandal. Show manufactured drama for ratings. Network faces defamation and breach of contract lawsuits. Meanwhile, Erica Mendeecees and Yandy reconvened in Erica's apartment. The morning sun painting golden streaks across the hardwood floor. They shared weary smiles, clutching mugs of coffee that had gone cold. "We did it," Erica whispered, though exhaustion trembled in her voice. Mendeecees nodded, fingers tracing the rim of his cup. "Truth over ratings," he said softly. Yandy wrapped her arms around both of them. "We're free," she said, though they all knew the road ahead would be fraught with legal battles and public scrutiny. But for the first time in weeks, they felt solidarity, to shared victory against puppet masters. Outside, Tasha K posted a final update. "I called their bluff. Now, the real puppeteer has been unmasked, and it wasn't me." Fans erupted in speculation, demanding names, demanding justice. The network's damage control only fueled the fire. Hashtags calling for executive resignations and boycott of the show trended worldwide. In the aftermath, Scrappy and Bambi's leaked document, Erica's live broadcast, and Mendeecees' forthcoming interview converged into a media maelstrom. The show's producers went silent. The network issued vague apologies. Reality TV critics penned think pieces about the ethics of unscripted drama. Trustees of the network's parent company convened emergency board meetings. But amid the chaos, one question lingered. Would the public ever truly believe anything they saw on screen again? The lines between reality and performance had dissolved in two. A murky blend of manipulation and confession. As part 4 of this saga drew to a close, Erica, Yandy, and Mendeecees sat on Erica's couch, shoulders touching, a fragile unity between them. They had torn down the masks, but now faced the challenge of rebuilding their lives outside the confines of a show built on shadows. They shared a quiet moment before the next storm, knowing that, in the world of love and hip-hop, the only certainty was that drama never really ends. As the dust settles on this whirlwind of secrets and schemes, one thing is clear: reality isn't always what you see on screen. Alliances were tested, truths were buried, and powerful players pulled the strings, but you witnessed the moment they were forced into the light. Erica risked everything to expose the manipulation behind the drama. Yandy refused to be a pawn, and Mendeecees stood up to face the fallout alongside them. Together, they shattered the illusion and reclaimed their stories. But the questions remain: who else was behind the scenes, orchestrating the chaos? Will the network face real consequences? Or will it simply rewrite history and keep rolling cameras? And as viewers, will you accept the next season at face value? Or will you look closer, question more, and demand genuine authenticity? If you felt the shock of each revelation, the heartbreak of betrayal, and the triumph of truth, let us know. Hit that like button if you're here for uncensored drama. Subscribe for more insider scoops and ring the bell so you never miss when we drop the next bombshell. Drop a comment below to tell us who you think was the real mastermind, what moments left you speechless, and how far you'd go to protect your own secrets. Your voice matters in this story after all. You're the audience who keeps the cameras rolling. Stay tuned, because in love and hip-hop, the next chapter is always just around the corner.